I live in Lake County. You know, we're in Lake County. We're less than 4% Black people in that county. And so you bring these kids, you recruit them.
I'll come to Lake County. And I stay right up here in I'll come to Lake County.
But it's 9,100 to the 230,000 residents. So the oppression out there is real. And so you recruit these young men, these athletes into the school, and you take them from Black communities and you put them in a community where they're the minority and they can feel it. And so, you know, we try to surround them with so much to try to help them out. And one of the Black churches was like, oh, yeah, we'll let you do the cookout here. And then at the last minute, when I said it was a Black Lives Matter event, they were like, oh, no. And you're like, wait a minute.
Wow.
Luckily, I'm going to be completely honest about it. One of the white churches opened up to us. And it's not about, you know, to them, it wasn't about Black or white. It was just about doing good work for kids. But it was just like, we got to do better as a people. You know, people are there. And this is the thing, is that there's this belief that the establishment of Black righteousness or Black power is rooted in the church, but it ain't. It's rooted in us. It's rooted in community leaders and activists that are out here doing the grassroots work to get this stuff done. It's not like this belief that all of the leaders for the Black community speak from the church is not the truth. I'm not saying that there are not great leaders in the church. They are, but they got to get out in this fight. You know, like
make more noise.
Yeah, it's like, come on, you have a whole congregation behind you. Educate them on what's really going on.
That's a whole segment. I promise you, we can talk about that for days.
Amen.
I'm telling you, we can talk about that for days. And actually, we definitely need you back so we can talk about that, because that's. I think that would be.
It's divisive for our community, right?
For our community.
Black churches, I feel like they're competing with Black churches. You're not competing with each other.
Like, we are all one human race. One race. We're all human.
I know when I was younger or a kid, you can go up to a church, you can get this, you can get that, but you really
Awanas, they had Awanas for the kids. Y'all remember that? In each county, we had an Awanas.
Oh, what's Awana?
Girl, oh my God, it was the best thing ever when I was a child. We used to go get our Bible studies, and after we did our scriptures and all of this, we went into the gym and played some Olympic type games. I'm talking about three-legged race. I'm talking, relay races, and then after so many months, we would compete against other Awana churches. And it was a big old Olympic thing. We got medals. It was a lot of fun. We ain't got that
on the east side.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need them boys and girls clubs back. We need those
But there's I don't know if you guys know, I volunteer with an organization called Mission Continues, and we actually go into the boys and girls clubs and do a lot of work. It's a veteran, and we need to connect with them. Sure,
we need to connect with a whole lot of different organizations. I also do some work with it's called.
Good afternoon, Roland from University Heights. How are you all today?
Good. How are you? We had a call and didn't know.
Okay.
How are you?
Good. Awana was on the east side. I love the Awana.
See?
They said backyard Bible clubs, backyard Bible study in Awana, and that's great. And I wish we had it now. As the scripture tells us, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're older, they won't depart from it.
Amen.
I
we need
appreciate
to get the word in our youth today, so that as they grow older, they won't depart from the teachings of the word. So Awana goes a great deal to getting that done.
I agree, and I appreciate you calling in to let them know it was on the east side. Y'all just didn't know about it.
It was. It still is too, because I know I'll throw a name out. There's a lady by the name of Lydia Crowder that she does it. She helps organize them. So, and they're really great.
It was a great program. It most definitely was. I mean, it was something that I definitely look forward to at least once a week. I mean, my dad used to boot us off. We go to his house every other weekend on Sunday.
You all got one of the best shows on the station.
Oh, well, thank you.
The show that comes on, the Heal the Land, and this show are the two best shows on the station.
Oh, well, thank you. We appreciate the support. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Be blessed.
Hey. We need to connect with Miss Lydia Crowder.
Yes. Please reach out to us.
Of course.
If you're listening, if y'all know who she is,
call in.
Phone numbers.
Yeah, we do accept call-ins, y'all. Number is 216-939-5087. Call in and spread your love.
So
what's going on with that?
That makes me everything you guys are talking about. Last month that we met in April? Okay,
I'm gonna tell you the truth. My life is insanity right now.
So
every day is like it could have been last week or last month.
So you guys know that I go on the Solomon Pope radio show at least once, maybe once every other month, because that's where I first came on the radio, and so I always go back. He always invites me back, and we always make a connection. But this in particular show, we came and I met Miss Marcita Ferguson, and I just want you guys to just to give you a little summary. We were discussing so many different programs, and it was just so much powerful information. When you're in a room like with very powerful people, you feel like this, like this, and I was just over here like, what? Like, whoa! Like, I mean, the things that they were talking about, we were talking about finances, economics, youth, and you guys know youth is like, I can talk about youth all day and all night. Before I get to you, I just wanted everybody to know that what you said, we are having a virtual summit June 26th. It's going to be through Zoom. It's going to be through Zoom. Everybody that's listening.
Lisa's supposed to be getting onto that link.
Right.
We'll send it out as soon as it's together.
Okay. June 26th. What, 2?
2 o'clock.
Okay, 2:00 p.m.
I already got it on my calendar.
Yay. Because we recognize that so many of us, some of us are doing the exact same thing. Yes. So why not come and unite? This is what SLU is all about.
Y'all need something from me?
Yeah, you.
They said say number again. I'm going to go ahead and scroll the number at the bottom in case anybody would like to call in.
Yes.
Please do. Please do.
Talk about
we haven't even gotten that far. But so if you want to help, 2nd. You guys know June 20th exactly.
Today's June 2nd.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Okay.
Yeah.
So planning that part out?
Yeah.
Okay.
June 26th.
Okay. Can we set up a call?
Yeah.
Why don't we set up a call in regards to us being on there planning, and then kind of like do a timeline in regards to what we need?
Tomorrow or today?
Absolutely. We could do it later on today.
That would be perfect.
We could do it later on today once I get home. And
I appreciate that.
I don't have anything else going on. We could do it later on today in regards to find out what our needs and what our goals in regards to the people who we need to pull in. Absolutely. So if I need to do some stuff, then I can be working on my end in regards to just doing some stuff.
Yes. And see, y'all, this is what it's all about. Coming together in unity as one. Different agendas, because we all do our own things at this table. Yes. However, it takes a village. It really truly does.
Because
and resources are resources.
And resources are resources.
It doesn't matter what realm you're operating in. You're always going to need resources. It was something that I talked to earlier today when I was talking to Senator Brown's office about our MBK program, and they were like, well, what are a couple of the things that we need to do for you? And it was like, number one is always going to be resources.
Yes.
And when we talking about putting like I know you said you'd do this for no money, and we would do this for no money, but we're not doing this for no money.
Marcita, I did it for a long time for no money, Marcita, and I still do a lot of volunteer for no money, but I still got to eat.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you.
I'll be real clear with that. Like, I'm willing to do this. Yeah. I'm willing to do it, but I got a family too. And don't ask nothing of me that you wouldn't be willing to do for yourself. So don't bank yours and then want me to volunteer for mine.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we all accept donations.
That's right. Yes. That comes from intellectual property. Pay me for my intellectual property.
Amen.
Please and thank you.
I tell them this all the time. Like, we have to get past that, because even if you give me the job, I'm going to do more than a job. Right. So, you're going to get more out of me than what you pay me to do. Exactly. And so I need to be paid for my work. And I'm that's the sentiment that I'm echoing. Like, every time somebody's asking me, well, what does Black Lives Matter Lake County want? What do we need to do for the Black community? One of the things that I'm really heavy on right now is that Lake County, I need 5 jobs, $85,000 a year for 5 different Black people, and each one of those people need 2 additional streams of revenue. That's where I'm at. Until we get to that 24 months. We got 24 months for that. I'm not doing nothing else.
When they open up, Marcita called me.
Don't you want to come into Lake County?
For the money? I ain't coming to live. I take it not to live, Marcita. Right. Not to live. I'll go and come back. But no, not to live. I'll take that hit. When the 85,000 hit that table, say, Robin, I got something for you. I'm going to say, email it to me. Send it to me, Marcita.
So, Marcy, in terms of, I didn't want to just talk about Black Lives Matter. I want you to talk about that because I know you're in Painesville. I mean, we cover the United States of America. You know, BAM does, by any means does. But also talk about your business as well and the direction that you're headed in, and because I know where you work.
Yeah.
You know, and you can talk about that too.
So I manage the probation support services for Cuyahoga Juvenile Court, but I'm on my way out the door. December 31st is my last day.
Oh,
you got 6 months.
So the hope is that either my business pick up or somebody can hire me.
Hey.
But you know, I think that I'm going to be more impactful outside of that seat, and that's just where I'm at with this, right?
I agree.
You know, at some points I have to always censor myself. Like, I'm allowed to say whatever I want. I just can't say that I'm representing Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court, right? And I'm not. But it's like, how impactful am I when I'm sitting in a seat where, although I'm paid to be a leader because I'm in management, I don't feel like I'm leading the revolution, and that's my heart. Right. So like I'm a Fred Hampton baby to my core.
Yes.
So it's time for me to, you know, just pack it up and leave. You know, I recently started my own business to the Inclusive Leadership Institute, and it's really going in and making impactful change. It's not just about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but it's about treating people with dignity and respect.
Yes.
So, like, come on, we gotta put people over profit, people over production. We gotta stop this. When I came into the court, I got the worst department in the building. That's what was said. And I promise you, I tell them every day I coach up or I coach out. And I'm not coaching to fire you. That's where we have to change the sentiment and the mindset. I coach you to another position. And I'm going to be straight up with you. If you've created a reputation for yourself and you ain't ever going to make it in this business, why ain't nobody telling you that? Let's go look for something else. Why are you so angry? If you are killing yourself and stepping on your own foot, let's figure out why that is. We are here as managers and leaders to lead people, to teach them to do better. And instead, we utilize them to stand on their backs to get where we need to go. I'm never going to be like that. Ever. And I'm all about doing great work and teaching other people how to do great work. You come in that building now, I promise you. They be like, what's the best department in the building? They be like, Marcy, we do it all. Like we collecting food right now to give out in the community. We don't even have to. Like this is what we do, right? Like this isn't a court initiative. This is a probation support services initiative. And then we turned it into a competition with the sheriff's office. So we done made them start collecting food too. Right. It's like, yo, we in this community, we the court, we need to do better. These people need help. This is COVID-19. This is one of the poorest communities in this county. These kids ain't got no outlets, and everybody know me. Know I love the kids. I've ran youth councils. You know, at our Black Lives Matter, we have so many young people running the initiatives and chairing the committees because that's where it's at. Like, you can say whatever you want, but y'all seen what them kids did to Trump. Made him think he sold 1 million tickets and you had 6,500 people there. Like, these kids understand not only technology but how to organize. They don't know.
My daughter told me all the time I need to get on TikTok.
Yeah, they don't know the ins and out, but they need some guidance. And we too busy trying to build a career instead of understanding that they are our legacy. And how do we impact them in a way that makes them change the world? Because they've been changing the world. I mean, these kids rallied and made Walmart take guns off the shelf. Like, come on. Like, yo, we have to understand that we have had leadership that has been incorrect for so many years. And I'm not mad at them because they only did it the way that they learned. You know, nobody decided to think out the box, and it was always going with the status quo. And I'm not that person. Like, I just can't be. And I want to surround myself with people who also understand and get it. We all got a role to play, but there's enough out here for us all to eat. Not only to eat, but to
and
create a table together and have tables for our families. Like, look, we can build this thing so big, but we have. Some parts of us are infected by that old mentality of leadership, right? And you have these leaders, and right now, like when I'm looking at where I work or where I'm impacting things, you have leaders whose parents were a part of the Depression, and they're very closed-minded, and they believe that you have to have 40 years at an organization and then retire. And, you know, then I'm in this bracket as one of the older millennials. So I have the best of both worlds, right? I'm knocking on leadership's door, like let me in and let me lead my way. Meanwhile, I get to impact the younger generation. And it's like, and I see the technological advances that they've had. And I see the way that they, you can say whatever y'all want, older leaders, but y'all fighting for $4,000 pensions. These kids is making millions of dollars.
Hello.
Like y'all, and you don't want to hear them because they're young. I'm with them. I'm with them. I'm with them, and I'm with them, and I'm going to teach them the best qualities that I learned from you, right? Because the things that you taught me that I don't like, that were hardships, I don't got to take that with me. And I think that that's the thing that we have to learn with leadership at my age, right? It's like I don't have to say, okay, well, Black people only got 12% of the pie, so we got to fight over this 12%. Like, y'all can fight over that because I'm going after the 88s or whatever, right?
Let me ask you a question, because this is what I wanted. I wanted the opportunity for our listeners and our viewers to understand, what does Black Lives Matter? We know what Black Lives Matter is at this table, but I want you to give an explanation because there's so much
going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what I say. Black Lives Matter means what it means in its own backyard, for one. Stop comparing me to Cleveland, to the national movement. There are no movements that do work but the ones that are grassroots. I don't care what you say. And I've been watching it. Like, you can give me all the national movements you want. They bring lawsuits and they can do it in the Supreme Court, and y'all ain't been doing that. So get on your job, because they taking our voter rights away. They're taking our abortion away. They're trying to remove diversity in school systems. So NAACP and all of y'all on the national level, get to that, because that's what your job is. But our job is impacting the communities in which we are a part of. Black Lives Matter in Lake County is about the 9,100 Black people to the 230,000 residents there. What does that look like? We are an organization that is divided between racism and the development of the Black community. And what does that look like? 30% of my resources goes into racism. That's what y'all might see on my page. Oh, she gave out this, she did that. But you don't see the 70% that goes into actually healing the harm that this country has caused for people of color. That is not your business. That ain't gonna be on display. You ain't gonna know if I paid somebody light bill because their light's been off for 2 weeks. That's not your business. And people, and in our community, we fight each other like, oh, you do this for play or you do this for show. You don't know what I'm doing. You get to see the little parts that people have to see, because people have to believe that I'm doing great work to invest and to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, you don't get to see the kids that call me because they done ran away from home and they don't trust their mama because their mama on drugs. That's not your business, right? Black Lives Matter means I'm going to sacrifice for my people, and I'm going to bring up every person that I can as long as I can. And I'm going to make sure that they understand that their responsibility is to do the same. And I'm sorry that the world created this for us. This country created our oppression. And a lot of people that look like us have been complicit in it, and that we have to change it. That is what it is, though. That's what it is. And it doesn't matter like that. That's what it is. We just got to do it until we don't have to do it. And that's the part that people have to have an understanding. Black Lives Matter isn't about against the police. Dan Waterman is a great friend of mine. And as the police chief of Painesville City, he recommends me for every single thing. And I'm on every single thing. Like it is not about being against politicians. I'm against ignorant ass people.
Right. No, you're good. Say what you got to.
I'm against ignorant people. I don't, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to be a racist at your house, go do that. But when you bring racism in the streets, you got a problem with me. I don't care what you want to think. If you want to say the N-word in your shower every day because you hate the color of my skin, you have at it. But when you decide to create policies and legislations and governments and businesses that impact my community to make sure I stay oppressed, you gonna see my face.
Amen.
Thank you.
Girl, preach. She just gave me good time.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. And that's, and to me, the most important part is affecting our youth. And our youth, they have to learn, exactly everything y'all have just said, because they're our future. And I think I said this at the beginning, like a couple of months ago. I said, the young people today, I'll follow you. Look, I'm older. I'm with y'all. I gladly go because they're courageous.
They're revolutionary.
They're revolutionary.
Sure.
Very revolutionary.
They think outside the box.
My daughter's last week on the way here. Kids should be allowed to vote, which I love that they said that, but like there's so much research that's involved, homework that's involved. That's why children aren't allowed. But I said, I hope once you're 18, you still have that same mindset. I said, because one thing I regret is not taking advantage of voting when I was 18. I'm about to be 38. And I just started voting like 4 years ago. I ain't gonna lie. But now I won't stop because I know it's important. Now I'm not gonna vote for whoever.
Right.
Like in Cuyahoga, we need some work, right?
So, Jen, that's real big. Even in the mass incarceration world, right? Because I run across people all the time that still today don't vote because they don't believe, because it's not going to change, because it's not going to do this. But it's different levels of government that we need to be involved, from the local to state to the federal. So when you see things on ballots and stuff, it made it there some type of way, and that's because a lot of times we don't vote. Right. So I had that same mindset, like it ain't gonna change, it ain't gonna do, but it really does. Especially when you know the different levels of government and what the different levels of government do, and how it do and what it do and for what it do. Amen. So that's just the whole concept. We have to push that agenda more forward around making sure that people can vote. People who've been incarcerated can vote. People who've been incarcerated can do this. And it's just a whole mindset shift around things that they say that we can't do. And they want to keep it like we can't, because that's a strategy within itself. We don't tell them that's strategic. Right. They don't know that strategy.
They don't know they can't.
And people don't know
they don't know they won't.
If you're locked up, you can vote as long as you have a year, less than a year. So you could be in a Lake County jail, and you're entitled to vote, because we have tried to put voting initiatives in the jail and ballots to make sure that the people in the jails
our incarcerated people should have every right to vote, period, regardless.
It's like, especially because this affects them the most.
Exactly. Thank you. And that's why they keep trying to take it from our people, period.
And then on top of that, right, it shouldn't happen every 4 years. This whole voting phenomenon should be all year, all around. So what happens is, when it's come time to vote, the people see people, did you vote? This should be something that's ongoing always. It just shouldn't happen around election time. In regards to getting people to know who and what's on the ballot, how to read the ballot, how to do this and how to do that around voting.
And the thing is, the ballots are crazy. Like, we know that we have so many illiterate people, and you write the ballot so that people don't vote. Like, let's be completely honest.
That's intentional.
Why aren't there audios to explain things?
That's intentional.
Like, there ain't no way you can tell me that I can read. I listen to 6 books a week. You can't tell me that you can't put our ballots and our information on what. Yeah, it's like
and that's what kind of. I mean, I know it's off this, but like the parole board, they've got absolute freaking power, and there's no way to fix it because y'all don't want to do any type of videotapes or recordings, or not, because y'all know what you're doing. It's all for profit, but they're about to be exposed big time.
And one of the things that I think about with voting is that people who are running for office make it seem like voting is the ultimate thing. And the thing that about people that don't vote, they have to have an understanding that it takes voting, it takes being a part of school board meetings, it takes protests, it takes demonstration, it takes development, it takes economics, it takes the dismantling of media bias. It's going to take it all. So the problem is that people make people believe it's like, okay, we're going to all vote for Barack and everything is going to get great. Nope. That's not it. Nope. You got to vote for Barack, and you also got to go and reach out to Epics and sit on a committee for them. And then you got to go and protest down at Columbus on the front on the front steps and say, we're not taking this. And then you also got to go and give out food at the food pantry on Thanksgiving to people who ain't got no food at their house. And then you got to also give $40 to somebody who is running a nonprofit grassroots organization in your community. Like, you got to do it all. It sucks sometimes. Yes. I'm tired as crap today, but you got to do it all. And we have to stop making people think that there is one catch-all to solving these problems. And that's the problem. It's like, okay, I only work in this area and that's what I do. Nah, it don't work that way. You can't only be a preacher. You got to be a pastor in your church. You got to be an activist in your streets.
Amen.
So if voting wasn't so powerful, why would they always try and prevent us from not doing it? If it wasn't power behind voting, why would they always try and prevent us from doing it, or try and bring in loopholes in regards to stop people from voting? because it matters.
It
Voting
matters.
matters. And voting can move
Matters.
some things in regards to getting this person out of office, getting this person. When
Yeah.
the person
And I
goes,
think this last
that you have
election
some-
pretty much
It
proved that
proved
voting
matters.
absolutely
It really
matters.
But not
Absolutely
only that,
matters.
it was almost like a sacrificial voting to me, in my opinion, because if you look at what's been happening since Biden has gotten into office, it's just been constant. We're going back 60 years. Sorry.
Yeah,
60 years right now in terms of voting rights.
Yeah.
Because they're
And
trying
it's like,
to
what are
strip
y'all
away
doing?
everything.
Like Democrats, what are y'all doing? Like, let's not pretend. We ain't gonna
can't become
dance around
complacent
it.
right now. Now is the time
Where
to,
we need
to teach our young people. That's most important. Get our young people involved in this movement, and every single thing, every part of their life, they have to understand that your vote counts, your voice matters,
That's right.
and you have to get out.
And I think that's what happened every time an election comes. We get complacent, like with Barack.
Yes.
We got comfortable, we relaxed, we let our foot
Yep.
up. We shouldn't have never let our foot up.
Never.
And just because he was in there, we felt like, oh, okay, this is to solve everything. This is going to
Yeah.
solve
That's
everything. And it's not to solve
It
everything.
got
We were
worse.
supposed to continue with the same
Keep-
pressure
Got
that
worse.
we was going at that particular rate to get him in there to see some changes
Keep
around
going.
some things.
Right.
But we let oh, we got a black president, we got
And
we
we
let him.
expected him
And
to
we let
do
him.
everything.
The savior.
And then people are mad because he had to play a certain type. Like, so I know about being a token, right? I know that I have to make certain sacrifices to open other doors, right?
Right.
And it's, I can't tell you about so many times that I've cried about things that I had to do to open up another door
Amen.
to get to another space. Like, and everybody do that, not even just in tokenism. So like, don't get mad at this man that he had to play certain parts to make sure that other black people can get voted in. Like, because we do have to play a role to the white world. Like, get out of here to think that he gonna go up in the White House and say release all the black folks.
No,
Yeah.
it ain't gonna happen like that.
Come on, man.
But
Like,
that's what we have to do.
We're gonna get
And
a
I
few.
believe
We're gonna
that
get a few.
our-
We're gonna go. I'm gonna go get y'all a few.
But of course, but that's where the grassroots organizations and the state level organizations come in, right? And that collaboration.
I
But it's
agree.
just like people just don't have an understanding of how this thing works.
Well, Marcia, that's why we got to take them back to the basics in regards to different levels of government, in regards to why voting is important on a local level, the state level, and the
Yes.
federal level. Because on a local level, you can change something through the state. From the state, you can
Mhm.
change something through the federal. But if you're not voting
From
locally
the
every
bottom,
2
you can't
years
get to
Man.
the
to
top.
every 4 years, then it ain't gonna make
Then
a
it ain't
difference.
gonna
If you only voting every 4 years for the president and you're not voting for the judges and the prosecutors,
And I tell them that
What
this
do you-
all the
what do you
time. Like,
do?
the judges
What do
make
you
the
do?
most decisions in your community. How can you tell me who running for president? You can't tell me who's sitting on your bench because they send your friends to jail. They send your mama to jail.
That's
They
another
said-
thing. That is another thing with our youth is we definitely need to get them to start running, being
Oh yeah.
opponents. Like,
That's
look
right.
at Cuyahoga
That's right.
County,
That's right.
McDonald,
That's right.
worst judge ever. Guess what? Had nobody running up against her. O'Malley. Nobody. I mean, how? Why? I mean, you can't tell me people ain't tired of their shenanigans.
Right.
But
It
then-
ain't
people
nothing
don't
but
believe-
shenanigans up in that place.
But
But then,
one
Jen,
of it
we
has
can
to do
also
with
start at the
money.
neighborhood level too, in regards to being precinct
Yeah.
committee leaders,
Yes.
being people in the community, because you can't tell me that y'all need lights on your street, but you don't know who's your council person.
Amen.
How can you say you need lights and you don't know who
How
your
are
council
the
person is?
potholes
You don't know who-
in your street?
you don't know who
so
controlling the
big?
money.
They don't even know who their senator or their rep of their district
How do
is.
you know-
Right.
How
Who's
do you-
controlling the
Right.
money?
How are there
Absolutely.
there are pockets of landfills in the city of East Cleveland and Cleveland.
Ooh-wee.
And
I'm not trying to be rude.
No,
It
we
is
need to
little
start
landfills
Right.
in the
exposing.
city, and y'all city
Yeah.
y'all still vote for the same city council representative.
yeah.
I'm sorry, like y'all,
Yes.
we have to do better. Like, pockets of landfills, like there ain't no way. First of all, Cuyahoga County has enough money to be a legacy for the state of Ohio, but y'all too busy
If they
not
want to.
understanding,
If they
right?
They're
want to.
corrupt.
No, but I'm gonna tell y'all now, Lake County about to take that.
Get it, girl.
Just saying, I'm working in my
Cuyahoga County
own.
been like that for a long time. I
Yeah.
worked for them.
And then y'all voting rate just continues to disseminate, and I don't understand. First of all, we gonna talk about I'll talk about it all. The Democratic Party on the state level. Come see me if you get mad. Yo, y'all do a horrible job. First of all, you should be winning these small counties, these small elections
In
that you
rural
can.
areas.
You should be excited. I mean, I went to, I'm not gonna say whose meeting it was, but a Democratic meeting for somebody. And I mean, they already believe that they can't win.
Oh, they beat already. They didn't beat themselves. They beat themselves.
I mean, they're like, oh,
You already said you can't win. Well, I need to go.
and it's just like, how do y'all feel? Like, y'all are the party to make change right now. And in your party, I mean, the Ohio level, why aren't you going to small communities and winning? Okay, if we can win 5 small communities this year, then at least that build up, right? And this is the build up, but they don't get that. You want to get to the big build up without doing the work, and that's why you have not won the way that you should. Ohio should never be red, and we get redder every day. Like we can see, we have so many independents, but the Democratic Party on the state level don't come talk to the right people. Grassroots.
Mm-hmm. If you look at the state in terms of Ohio, the major cities in Ohio were all blue. It was the small rural communities like Ashtabula, which is where I lived during the presidential. They get it redder. But you know what? I will give Ashtabula County this much, where they kind of came close.
Yeah, Geauga. Did you see
County?
Geauga be on it? That little Democratic Party is the
that's
best.
Where exactly.
Yeah.
Counties like that. That's red. But these are the counties that we need to boots on the ground.
And cities,
cities, constant.
Painesville is 80.
Timbuktu.
Painesville city. Our kids, our school is 87% kids of color.
Wow.
We 4% in the community, in the whole county. Why do you not have a strong Democratic Party in Painesville City? In Willoughby, where we have the second largest, why do you? And then this is the thing: rural communities. I've worked with Republicans. People can get mad at what they want. I work with whoever do good work. I don't care, and they gonna write a check. So, in rural communities, y'all not even telling them about what the problem. Like, if you really talk to them about what you can give them, internet, access to technology, you can win these small communities. But you just give up on them. It's like, oh, they just Republicans, so we're not even going to go in and talk to them. Yeah, it's like, come on, go talk to these people and see what they want. They obviously have not been getting it. Because look at how rural they are, and look at the technology. Because I'm pretty sure there's no towers still there. We're 2021, so go talk to them. Go figure out a way. Come with a plan, and stop coming to talk and flapping your gums. Come with a real plan. Show me where the money gonna come from. How you gonna get it here, and help me fix my community for my people. Go talk to the grassroots organizations. And I mean, some people are just going to be red, right? And some people that are blue are racist too, so I don't even care. Like, at the end of the day, it's not about go do good work for all the people.
See, I'm not
all the people.
Or I feel like that whole categorizing and titling Republican Democrat is just like a white black thing. It all needs to be banned. Ban the titles, ban the categories. And the thing we're all never going to be treated equal until we start banning titles and categories. As much as we keep categorizing people, the more we're gonna divide.
And it doesn't make a difference if you're a Republican or a Democrat. That don't determine if you racist or not. Right. So like at the end of the day, or if you're a good leader, or if you care about the people. Like there are some amazing Republicans that care about the people. Yes, like I literally just did, I'm a subject matter expert for the state of Ohio. That's the Attorney General's office. He's a Republican. The work that we're doing with them as far as really trying to do great work in policing reform. That has nothing to do with blue or red. That has to do with Black people are being murdered. Yes. Poor white people are being murdered by police. They are also being incarcerated at alarming rates as well. It's don't get me wrong, it's really terrible in the Black community, but poor white people are getting just started. So it's like we really have to look at this thing as how do we reform policing, because it was built off of slave patrols. It was never built to be equal. It was never built to be protective of communities of color. So we really talking about what do we do, and that had nothing to do with blue or red. It just has to do with humans. We have to do a better job with reaching out to good people.
We gotta do a better job within our communities.
With ourselves. Prisons wasn't built for women in mind.
Prison and police reform go one in one.
It wasn't built for women in mind. So you just got to.
I call it criminal justice reform. So in our organization, we got 6 key areas, and we don't categorize it like police reform. Police reform falls under criminal justice reform because the prison system has to be reevaluated. I mean, sentencing guidelines. Look at how it's sentencing,
and that's why they're trying to put that database together.
Yeah.
But is justice really just? When I say justice, I said,
I don't know. Justice ain't just. We are probably going to end up taking a break here shortly, and Miss Gay Lisa will be coming on next with her guest. You'll be excited to see who she brought in. Speaking of the youth, empowering them while they're young. So, y'all, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Stay tuned in. We have Miss Gaylisa Carr up next with Adjusting Lives, Healing Heart, and Spreading Love Unapologetically, y'all. Yeah.
And welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Gaylisa Carr, and I represent Adjusting Lives, Healing Hearts, and Amy Lee's Heart. And today I'm here to discuss with you a little bit more about myself. Some of you do know that I am formerly incarcerated, but there's some other things that I've been doing for 17 years since I got out. I've been going back in institutions for 16 years. And why, you say? Because what I learned and what I saw kind of helped me to understand my purpose and what I really wanted to do with my life, and that is help people. And in helping people, I understood that I had to help myself first. And so in helping myself, I began to go back in voluntarily, talking with women, holding groups with women, crying with women, listening to their stories, trying to understand what they were going through. And in some instances, I did understand what they were going through. But with that being said, every ending was the same. I need help. Or why am I thinking like this? Or why am I feeling like this? Or why did I do this? And why did I do that? So I was feeling the same way. Why did I do what I did? Why did I kill somebody? Why was I selling drugs? I didn't really grow up, abused by my parents per se. But I didn't have everything that other people had. And, sometimes less, sometimes more, whatever the situation may be. But with that being said, I wanted to kind of focus on giving you more information about what started me on my journey. And at the time when I started my journey, let me interject that my son was incarcerated and on his road of incarceration for not the first time, but the second time. So that's my picture. I was incarcerated, left my son when he was 4. I got out when he was 18. He went and did his first prison sentence when he was 19. Then he got out when he was 24. And then when he was 24, I had been out 6 or 7 years. And in the course of that, I was still trying to kind of get myself to becoming a responsible adult, because I had missed out on 14 years of my life. I was locked up at 24 and got out. I was 38. So that was something to think about. So long story short, I began volunteering, going back into institutions. Somewhere along the line, because I had several mentors, but I heard somebody say, my mind is killing me. And I picked that phrase and just ran with it. And that's what I call my little curriculum. And we would ask questions, talk about what we did, who we did it to. And the journey went from there. Mind you, at the same time, my son is incarcerated. So the first 6 years of his second incarceration were bumpy, because we both were thinking the same things, and we both needed to address some things that did not fit into being a responsible, productive citizen according to the societal rules. And of course, we all know there are some rules and regulations that we have to adhere to. And what is behind that is the fact that I don't want to go back to prison anymore. So I needed to get more information, if you will. And as I was getting the information, he was getting information. And so it was his information against my information. And so for 6 years, we shared information and situations and disagreements and ups and downs. But in the end, this is 17 years later, and it has become a successful program. This year, we're paid to do it. So if you will, take a look at the story and the travel. of what I've genuinely done. So the resume includes programming in Dayton Correctional, Northeast Integration Center, several times visited Marysville, Tapestry, several times spoke to men at Trumbull, Lorraine, just all over the place. Anywhere I was called or needed, met all kinds of people, heard all kinds of information, and I compiled that. And 10 years now into my son's sentence, it is time for me to learn, if you will, the law on how do I take what I've learned as far as trying to personally address some things that do keep us from appearing irrational and irresponsible in society. So how do I couple that now with the legalities of it? What is procedural? What do I need to do to start working on his case? What do I need to do to get him out? I don't want him to be in there for 10 more years, 20 more years, 30 more years. So that is what I choose now to bring on. And that's why you see, some may see him, but my guest today is Mr. Dean Piero. And I have currently working with him closely. He's a comrade, and those of us understand what that word means. A comrade with some experience, but not only the experience, a comrade with soul, and that is a soul in tune with the soul. Mm-hmm. And if I can interject, one thing that everybody should know about the incarcerated individual is that they are definitely in tune with their soul. They are definitely soul seeking and searching. So some things, anger appears in all kinds of different ways. And when you don't have any information, then it lashes out in ways that are called criminal. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what we look at is the person. And so this is why I have chose to join his consulting firm and use life experiences, live experiences, but most importantly, learning about our clients and allowing other people to learn about our clients. And then not only that, the community, those who don't know, those who do know, those who are wondering why. So here we sit. I'm gonna pass it over to Dean. Dean, how are you? Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. I am well, and I want to say what a great show this has been. To follow the guests that have been on this show thus far is a tall order. So thank you so much for having me, and it is an exciting announcement, and we are really excited about what happened, and it kind of happened on this show too. For those of you who don't know me, for 23 years I've specialized in post-conviction, and specifically what that is that's an area of law for people who are in prison and looking to get out. So the innocent would do post-conviction, and the guilty also. And 20 years of my experience was gained while I myself was an inmate. I wasn't wrongfully convicted, but that experience gave me familiarity with the realities of our system. And it kept me alive. It kept me preoccupied. And when I got out, I still continued with this, but even more so, and I would say even more intently. For example, I realized in prison assisting fellow inmates that being right is seldom enough. We have a system that has executed innocent people. I say it every day because it has to be said every day, that never should we think that simply because we found a great legal issue that we're going to get the guy out. No, because we have to go to the same court system that allowed it to happen in the first place.
Yeah.
So these realities, kind of, I would say, even outside the box of what you're taught in formal legal education, has always had me kind of probing and thinking, what is it that could be done? And so in 2020, last year, I started really a national brand where, in addition to doing quality assistance with the litigation for post-conviction, also assisting with other things that would benefit that individual in prison, and sometimes he being innocent. And one of the things is media. Shows like this show and other shows are really, really powerful because, well, the media is the fourth branch of government. All changes that have occurred in this country are owing exclusively not to the benevolence of the government, not because government officials realized that slavery was wrong, but rather it was because of the media and the push of the media and how it involves the people in what their government is doing. So, like a guest said earlier on this program, judges, for example, are elected officials. Well, if the judge is not administering the law fairly, then of course that can show on the next election.
Right.
Well, that's important information if I have a trial going in front of that judge. So you see how the media can play a role in it. I think in times past, it hasn't been intentional. We want to be intentional about it. So we have a show called Injustice Talks. And what our show does is it highlights real, true cases. It's going to start this week in 2 days. Friday night from 5 to 7, right here with No Static Radio, Injustice Talks will air. Again, highlighting cases. Now, this episode, we will highlight some of what we are finding with regard to Thomas Carr's case. And this is Gay Lisa's son, who is also a client, a dear client, an amazing case. We're going to share with you what we've done thus far. We've spoken to him, I think all the way up, his mom. We've spoken to his son. We're all over that case. Another case we're working on, a prisoner who we believe to be innocent, in that he did not know a murder was going to happen. His uncle was the shooter. He's nevertheless serving a murderer sentence. So we're helping him. We're also going to highlight aspects of that case where we speak to the defendant as well as people related to the defendant. And then in addition to that, just explaining the law. Shakespeare says, and I've said it before on this program, there is no darkness but ignorance. The reason why injustice happens is because we are an ignorant people. I know that's not popular to say. I know you're not going to find that on a button, but the reality is our ignorance is used against us. Right. And you don't see any legal scholars getting wrongfully convicted, do you? You end up seeing people like I was when I was first slapped with those handcuffs. I didn't know the system. I didn't know what my rights were. I couldn't even spell Constitution, let alone tell you anything about it. And that's, I think, true of so many of us, that until we need it, we really don't have an interest in it. And that, of course, makes us not only ignorant, but willfully ignorant nowadays, where information is so readily available. Now, I will be the first to tell you that law books are boring, and who wants to study that? But true crime is interesting, right? Right. So why not learn the law through real cases? Why not learn the ways in which the government violate your rights, potentially, or other people's rights? And then more importantly, what can be done to remedy that? There's such a loss for what can be done. Even if you have a loved one who's going through the system, you can love that person all you want, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to help them. You need information, and that's what we want to do. Now, we're essentially bringing a thimble full of water to an ocean reservoir needed of information. I realize that, but hopefully we could start something with this, and other places will do the same thing. 100 years ago, it would be unheard of if you started a corporation or got a divorce or any of these things without a lawyer. Today, the opposite is true. The law didn't change. They've just made it more accessible. That has to happen in criminal law. It needs to become more accessible. The people of this country need to become aware of what their rights are in order to stand on them and invoke them. You can't invoke a right you don't know about. So you have to learn about them, and that takes time. And some, hopefully, we could do it with some entertainment as well. So that was a mouthful. Was there anything, Gailey, so you think I should go back over?
No, not really. I mean, that's kind of the crux of it. As we were saying, we have, I think that the key point is the ignorance, the lack of information, and that happens so readily. There are cases upon cases upon cases upon cases where people didn't understand what they were saying. People were promising them one thing and doing things like that. And I think it's just so important because, the stigma of, do the crime, do the time, but that is true. And that is true, but how much time is enough time? How much time is enough time? How much time is, what about the rehabilitation aspect of it?
Well, if I could jump in here, I mean, this almost looks like it was a volleyball setup here, but we have a case, someone close to you, at one time very close to you. This person was closer to you than anyone's ever been to you, physically and emotionally. Right. And in this case, I'm referring to Thomas's case. He was convicted for things that he did. Did he do it to the extent that they say? We could debate that, and we probably will. We will also debate whether they violated his rights in giving him the 40-year sentence that he got. Okay, let's assume, shall we, philosophically, that the guy he was when he was sentenced was the kind of guy where it was a reasonable bet to believe he would be violent for another 40 years. And that was among the reasons to lock him up, because for 40 years, this guy might do the same thing. So we need 40 years to lock him away before we can really roll the dice and open the door, right? So that's kind of like some of the sentencing thinking. What happens if a few years later, he's miraculously changed? And from a prison cell, he begins changing other people's lives. Like miraculous type stuff. Do we have a system that remains conscientious of that and will tailor justice so that it fits the person today and not the person in the bank?
No.
I would hope not, because it's a bank robber who's talking to you right now.
Absolutely.
If you were to judge me based on what I did in the bank and not my education and sacrifice and what it took for me to get here, which was much harder work than the bank robbery, then that would be a real unfair thing. So I say, and I said in the program that we will be airing, that a system that doesn't recognize change and evolution is not a system worth having, because we know it as far as humans. We believe in second chances. We believe in redemption. But why doesn't our government?
Right.
And that's an injustice, we argue, in that case. So, sometimes you'll hear wrongful conviction, and this came up today at work. Does wrongful conviction mean the guy's got to be innocent? No. He can be guilty as sin. Wrongful conviction can also be where the sentence doesn't match the crime or the person. That could be wrong as well. I would even say it could be used loosely to talk about the conditions where we're really not challenging his conviction, but we are challenging the treatment of his rights. So a lot is encompassed in this area, and don't worry, you don't have to go far to find injustice with this country's system.
Right.
But
I just
very
want
good
to add that I beg to differ from all the statistics. Everything they have said, I stand here living and breathing. I survived prison. I got out, not only helped myself, but went back into the Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, back into those gates to help other women. And you say that it can't be done, and you say that we trash, and you say that we can't learn, and you say that we're ignorant. So there's a lot of self-resolved people within those bars. So if I can do it, and I've done it, and I did it, I challenge anybody to stand up and say anything against it. Anything. And that is why we do what we do.
Yes, and much has to be done. You know, you're in a position where they can't say anything. You know, thankfully, I'm not on supervision. I'm far away from their grasp. But for those who are still entangled in the system, such as Thomas, such as many scores and scores of others, they need us. Now, it was also said on this program, it takes a village. That's right. It takes a village to raise a child. But guess what? That village shouldn't go away yet. If that child gets entangled in America's criminal justice system, you'll need the village to come back.
Absolutely.
You need the village to get the kid out of the jam. And I'll tell you why. Well, number one, common sense will dictate it, right? Go look at the paperwork. It is that poor guy against the state of perhaps Ohio or California or New York, or in my case, the United States of America. Me versus the United States of America. So tell me what sort of slick talking mouthpiece I can get to just checkmate the United States of America and walk away before lunch. Tell me who. It's ridiculous. They didn't put me with the conviction with a single person, and I'm not going to get out of it with a single person. You need a village. You need the people behind you. You need accountability. You need people who aren't even lawyers helping with phone calls, with support. That's what's needed. We try to bring that to our cases because we want to win, because we realize how this, number one, the stakes are high. We recognize that. I've been to prison. You've been to prison, Gay Lisa. Everyone on the team, for the most part, has either been there or has had skin in the game. I don't want you if you haven't had skin in the game. The struggle's too real for you to just totally understand it in a book. This thing's too real for that. So you have to fight aggressively. We do, and it's again, we're really, really happy, Gay Lisa, that you're bringing your experience and your heart to the equation. And I want to say too, also, other people, if you're interested in joining the team, you don't have to be a legal scholar. It doesn't, there's more that's needed than that to win. So if you're interested in being a part of a team where we are actually fighting the cases, and I'm not taking away from the other stuff, the stuff that's even talked about on this, and even projects I've committed myself to, the 13th Amendment. These are all worthy and noble causes, but I just want you to understand that this thing right here is the actual working on the case, the actual trying to get a person home, not legislation per se. That's good, but the house is on fire right now. Right. That's talking about what the building's going to look like 20, 30, 100 years from now. What about the people who are in there now? So if you're interested in learning about how to help those people, then by all means, why don't you contact us?
And I'm going to bring some of my village people right here from the studio. Come on, guys, grandson. And the reason why I wanted to come on, I've been out here 17 years. All my lifetime friends, you guys have seen me. You've seen the struggle. You've seen the struggle. You know it's real. You know everything I say is true. And I just want to challenge you that we need the Seagulls. It's time for us to come together. We need all the Seagulls we can get. And that is my personal pledge. If you don't take anything away from today, what I've said is it takes a village. And I've been out here and I've did my work and laid the foundation. And so I'm asking all my Seagulls to hover over this for us.
How are we doing on time, Gay Lisa?
We are channeling in. We do have someone else, so we're just going to just flow into. Or we do have another guest, Amira, and so I want to say in closing with this, once again, Injustice Talks, Friday, No Static Radio, 5 to 7. We'll continue on with this case, and you'll see more. You'll see us here, of course, every Wednesday. We are in the Cleveland area at the Camelot Mall on Sunday for a pop-up shop. Anybody want to come by and holler at us, buy a T-shirt, buy some food. We'll sign the shirts, whatever. You know, we, of course, as always, we do accept donations.
Yes.
If there's nothing wrong with, it was a joke. But anyway, yes, we do accept donations.
That's the truth. What you talking about?
And we love everybody and we thank everybody. Thank you, Dean.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Hi,
We
Amira.
appreciate
Hey,
you so much.
Thank
Amber,
you.
how y'all today?
introduce Amira today. Amira Rose is a part of the Epic team. We definitely sponsor and support her to the absolute fullest. She is the host of Night of Poetry, which I'm sure you guys see being shared on our broadcast, all three of ours, all the time. We wanted to give her a minute to come in and tell about herself and what she does. I believe she brought someone in to send us out.
I'm waiting for him. I'm gonna call him out right now. Rashad, where you at? I have one of our poets jumping on with us hopefully soon. I am representation. Sorry, just got discouraged. I'm here representing Night of Poetry, which is our poetry show that we have poets from both sides of the plantation wall. We go live once a month, different topics. Oh, here's our poet. So this is Rashad joining us.
How y'all doing?
Welcome.
I tell you, I'm so poetically spoiled because I hit Rashad up like maybe an hour ago, and I was like, yeah, so I need you to come on.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, I need a poem.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have easily went and got something from the vault because he has a book coming out soon called Poetic Pieces. Is that right, Rashad?
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
We
I
snapped.
appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm excited. Amir, just tell everyone a little bit about your show, when they can catch it, how they can catch it, and then you and Rashad can go ahead and take it over. We're done talking about the pop-up show. They told you our future events. Mark the date 26th. We'll have a virtual thing going. Yeah, virtual summit. So other than that, Amir and Rashad, it's yours.
Make sure to share that virtual summit on the Night of Poetry page because we appreciate y'all support so much. I know y'all tune in, and we definitely got to return the support back. So the show is the last Friday of every month. As I said, we have brothers and sisters from both sides of the plantation wall that runs on a live virtual show. We just had one this past Friday. A little technical difficulties, but we're gonna do a remix on it. Tonight, actually, we'll be addressing or announcing the topic for June. If anybody is interested, anybody can join us on the mic, whether you sing, rap, music. We're all for it. Anything to make awareness to current situations, current issues, the cause that we're battling. It's just a way to address the cause in a lighter manner, because sometimes we just need a break, because we all know that activism, fighting for our brothers behind that wall, just the everything in this world, it gets heavy. But what I was saying was, I'm so poetically spoiled, because like I hit Rashad up and I was like, yeah, I need a poem. And I thought he could just go to his vault and grab one out, because yeah, I read some of those poems from the book, and I can't wait for it to buy mine.
We can't wait to
he actually wrote one for y'all for the show that's fresh. He wrote it within this past hour. I'm saying the squad is just talented beyond. I'm gonna let Rashad take over.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm Rashad. Rashad Poet. Oh, hold on, somebody. Yeah. My name is Rashad Poet. So I got a book coming out. It's coming out within the next month. It's still with publishing. I had a few things to go back and forth with about. But it mainly addresses like topics such as addiction, which I face addiction with alcohol, so it addresses topics like that, and depression, which we don't deal with a lot, and love loss. It's poetry, so there has to be a lot of love and love loss going on. But let me get to the poem. I wrote this. It's called The System, so I hope you all enjoyed it. Give me 1 second. All right. So it's brand new. So if I slip up just a little bit, you have to forgive me.
We'll always forgive you.
All right.
Well, if you slip up, you have to just write another one. See, no pressure. That's how I do it with them.
And I appreciate y'all for the platform.
Oops, what did I do?
You kicked them out, girl. I got them now. There you go.
Okay.
Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. It's called The System. The system's broken. Somebody put racism on the scales of justice, and that's heavy. They want 10%, 10%. Shit's crazy. When mass incarceration projected a 500% increase since the 80s, they profit off our loss of freedom. Do the crime, do the time. Come home, society doesn't need them. What's the point of freedom being redeemed if you're still viewed as a demon, but only by the views of a tyrant? Recidivism only in the dictionary because mankind has been blinded. Imagine how many cash bails turn that judge into a Mercedes driver, or how many petty crimes turn a young man or woman into a prisoner because they couldn't afford to pay for their freedom. Slavery never ended. Though it's hard to believe it. I know it's hard to hear, but listen. The police badge and the badge of those who hunted runaway slaves is no different. Times change, but evil doesn't. Was there no deaths at the last riot? I can't believe there wasn't. Burn that shit down. Whoa. Wait. Let me chill. We should pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. That's how they really feel. Because burning shit don't work. Until we built Black Wall Street and they burnt that shit down for real. But let me not lose direction. Just reflecting on that 500%. No, not the 500% increase in imprisonment. No. The 500% increase in profit that private prisons have seen, and that's nonsense. And the profit, of course, is a motivation. It tells on itself. Why wouldn't they want offenders to reoffend? That's jeopardizing their perpetual wealth. Man, burn that shit down.
Burn it
down.
I told you, I'm so spoiled.
The last minute came through for us. We appreciate you, Amira, and the squad for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Goosebumps, y'all.
And with that, we out.
We out, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Tune in tonight of Poetry.
Burn it down.
Tune in to the night of Poetry.
Burn them all down.
What's going on back there?
We love y'all.
He said he loved your poetry. It sounded like you were singing a song.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
That's for book number 2.
Yeah, like I said, once that book comes out, we'll try to get it to us. We'll definitely promote you, have you back on with us just to tell all about your book. Spit those words, Roxanne said. He sure did. He came through for us. We appreciate you guys. The Night of Poetry. You guys do amazing things. It not only gives those who are formally justice involved a platform and a chance to definitely help those that are on the inside as well. We know that they go through retaliation and things to get us there or to get these poems and stuff out to us. But Amira, we love what you do, girl.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
And Rashad, we are so thankful you are part of the squad now.
Appreciate
Hey,
it.
thank you.
Much
You
love.
stuck with us.
Thank you again.
And peace out. This was our episode of Spreading Love Unapologetically. We are here again next week. Same time, same place, 4 to 6 every Wednesday on No Static Radio. Shout out to Miss Marie, our engineer, because she's the bomb.
He got some shout outs.
Oh, we got a couple shout outs from young man too.
Help from my mom, my sister, chocolate, my uncle, and my dad.
Free him.
Free. Yeah.
Bye, y'all. Till next week.